And we're back. Another week of Aggie football. You guys survived a bye week. Pat yourselves on the back. Give yourselves a round of applause. But now we're back to the action. Mississippi State and Texas A&M, a showdown in Stark Vegas. A place A&M hasn't done too well in recent history, but it's time to right that damn ship. A&M's going to head out to Mississippi and kick the ass out of some Bulldogs. It's going to happen, we believe, but you can't look past this team. It's another huge test, another huge game. But while we were in the bye week, we got a chance to peek at the landscape of college football, and the SEC continues to be what the Big 12 has been the last few years. Completely wide open, full of surprises, full of contenders, full of teams, emerging, falling. All sorts of things are happening in the SEC, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. Oh, and by the way, if you were paying attention, and I'm sure all of you were, Texas A&M got themselves another quarterback commitment today. Helaman Kasuga, out of Utah, high 4-star commit and rising. We're going to talk about all that stuff today. I want to get through all that content before we get into the calls. Good to be with you guys. It's been a minute. I think the last time we had a call-in show was last Monday. It's been a long time. So thank you guys so much for being here. And as usual, I see a bunch of familiar faces in the chat. I see Jay Wynn, great quarterback pickup today. 2026, can't wait for Aggie football this weekend. Gig 'em to all the people on Drew's channel. Gig 'em to everybody. Casey Harmon talking about the quarterback depth chart. Connor Wigman, Marcel Reed, Miles O'Neill, Hassan Longstreet, incoming freshman Helaman Kasuga. Damn, what a quarterback room for Elko and Klein. Klein is getting what he needs. Klein is getting what he wants, and he's 2 for 2 right now. So we're absolutely going to address the future of the quarterback room tonight because you got a lot of people in there now. It's becoming a crowded room. I mean, you didn't even mention Jalen Henderson, and he's in there too. So we got to talk about that. We got to talk about the future of the room. Thanks for being here, Casey. Cecil Simmons, Texas A&M is going to monkey stomp some Mississippi State ass. I hope so, man. I think we will. Troy Ellison, good to see you. Shan tuning in here. Good to see you, man. Feels so good to get Aggie football back this week, says Jeb. I see Noah Tuwavy in here. I see Matt Myers, Gridiron Masters, John Peroni. Who else is in here? Hamza Muhammad, Annabelle Collins, Play to Win. I see all my people in here, and I'm happy to see you guys because we got Aggie football again, and I'm itching for it, man. I can't wait for Saturday. I'll be live streaming. I'll be right here with you guys for the game, so make sure you guys tap in on Saturday. Thinking about going live for the late games too and just sticking with you guys the whole afternoon, calling it and having ourselves a day. James Ellis in here, Alex Flo, Aggie Man, Randy, Michael, lots of people I love to see in here. So thank you guys for being here. The call-in link is not yet pinned in the chat. Let's fix that real quick. But just click the link that I'm about to pin. You'll be prompted to enter a waiting room, and I'll bring you guys in one by one to talk good old Aggie football live on the internet. There it is. It's pinned now. And call-ins won't happen at the beginning of this show. I want to talk about a couple of things because I haven't talked to you guys in a couple of weeks, and we've had a lot of stuff happen. So first of all, I already put out a preview video, a shorter preview video about the Mississippi State game because this is one of those games that I think is all about the Aggies. It's all about the Aggies coming out, performing to their standard, trying to recreate what they did against Missouri, which is now, that's the standard of excellence at Texas A&M. You got to get back to that. But A&M currently sits as a 17-point favorite. I think it opened at like 14.5. It's moved in favor of Texas A&M. Mississippi State is in a down year. That's not a secret to anybody. We all know that. Maybe the worst team, if you're measuring them, in the SEC. But they have shown potential in a recent game versus Georgia. They kept it kind of close versus Texas, but that was by way of a couple Texas fumbles. But really that Georgia game is what's giving Mississippi State a lot of hope for their future in a season where they need a hell of a lot of it with a new coaching staff, new young quarterback taking the place of Blake Shapen. The key to this game that I want to see moving forward into the future, I know I want A&M to win. I want A&M to do well. But what I specifically want to see is the offense continuing that momentum they sustained or found in the Missouri game. And look, I expect the offensive line to play well. We're at that point now where I feel that's a positive unit for the team. We expect this defense to keep progressing. They've done nothing but progress the entire course of the year. But the offense, it's kind of been hit or miss until that Missouri game. And that's what we're looking for in this game. And there are two big specific things that I'm looking at in that regard. First of all, just the way you handle business in a game you're supposed to win comfortably, right? Now you're in conference and you almost slipped up in a game versus Bowling Green. Another game, similar spot, coming off of a big win versus Florida, going into a big game week versus Arkansas, and you didn't play your best. So I really want to see A&M take care of business in this spot because you have a couple more of those down the road. I mean, at South Carolina, they're a step above Mississippi State, no doubt. But that game, you know, it's an away game. It's a game you feel like you should probably win. Similar spot, better opposition. You got to get it done in this one as well to at least give me the confidence that you're going to be able to bring that to the future games. Same thing with the Auburn game. Maybe closer to Mississippi State's level, but you got Texas the next week. Another weird spot for a game. So I want that confidence moving forward that you can take care of business in a game in a spot like this. The second big thing I want specifically is the Connor that we got versus Missouri here to stay. I mean, he's really what unlocked this offense. He's really what's making us feel like A&M has turned a corner and giving us confidence through this next portion of the season that features a lot of manageable, also losable games. I mean, a quarterback will do that, right? Good quarterback play is just quintessential to a team, to an offense overall. But can you get that with him consistently? Can he just become steady? And that starts this Saturday. This is the follow-up for Connor Wigman. Obviously, we have two real samples right here. It's the Notre Dame game. It's the Missouri game. I'm not really counting McNeese so much. But those two games, can we get as close as possible to that Missouri game going forward? And if so, I'll be really encouraged about the future this season of the program. But speaking of the quarterback position, we would be remiss not to talk about the new commit, Helaman Kasuga, rising four-star out of Utah. Last season, his sophomore year, 4,145 passing yards, 34 touchdowns, 65% completion rate, and that's all as a sophomore. So what I want to do is just watch a couple minutes of his highlights, and this time, I made sure his highlights actually exist, because last time we had trouble bringing up the highlights, and now we're going to have some formatting issues, unable to go full screen. So we'll go pretty quickly with this because it won't go full screen, I don't think. But let's check it out. Let's see. There we go. I'm going to move my head down here so I'm not in the way. All right. Can we even see this? There we go. That's not too bad. All right. Let's just watch a couple minutes of Helaman. 6'1.5", 200 pounds, not the biggest quarterback, but from all reports, very mobile, very active, good arm, good instincts. There he is rolling out left, hitting a deep ball. Great arm, great fling on that thing. Open receiver, you hit it on the run going your weak side. Here he is throwing on the run again, throwing it deep, right on the money. Pretty nice. This is my first time watching his highlights with you guys, by the way. Another deep ball over the defense, right on the money. Beautiful. I mean, just a bunch of raw throwing talent here. Okay, great elusiveness, great evasiveness in the pocket. Steps up, throws it deep for a touchdown. Okay. And here he is running in the middle of the defense, making people miss. Nice. I mean, lower center of gravity for a smaller guy. Maybe you don't have the height you prefer as a quarterback, but this all looks really good. This all looks really good. In just a second, we're going to talk about how he fits into the quarterback room in the future and what that might look like. I mean, that's something we're going to be spinning our wheels about for a while, but I would argue it's all positive stuff. Wow. That was an accurate ball. Tight coverage. Man in his face, hits him. Open receiver, nice. Stepping up in the pocket, stepping out. Very elusive, very mobile, active. Scrambling for first down and more. I mean, I like the athleticism. I think that was maybe undersold in the reports. He looks really athletic. Another beautiful ball. Another one rolling out and just stepping up and throwing a nice ball. Wow. Another deep ball, open receiver. Very nice. All right, this is some receiver highlights. Number 3 is getting his view here. Another nice ball on the money. All right, so obviously this kid has tools, as you would have expected. And from reports, he's set to climb higher than his current rating, which is, I think, like a 92. What's up, Selena? A 92, 93 on the composite. And he's just in his junior year right now. I mean, a lot of room to climb for this kid. Really exciting stuff. Really good for the quarterback room. But what I really wanted to talk about, we're going after his 5-star teammate as well. That's awesome. Yeah. Let's steal him from Georgia. Okay. I just wanted to briefly talk about the future of the quarterback room. Of course, we're going to get more into this season in just a second, but since you got the commit today, I at least want to just touch on everything. So your quarterback room is looking pretty stacked. So what do you guys think? This guy's at 26, by the way, so he's not here for a couple of years. But do you guys think Connor's back next year right now? He missed half the year. The injury whispers, those have heated up because he got hurt again this year. I know we're not calling him an injury-prone player, but he did get hurt while those talks were happening again this season. So I don't know if that hurts his draft stock. He showed the game that he showed versus Notre Dame, not showing up as that top 2 rounder that you would have expected him to going into the year right now. Can Connor play himself into a draftable state, or do you guys think he comes back next year? I think right now, as it sits, I would say that I would lean him coming back next year, which would be huge for this team, especially with the way the schedule flips next year and all of your home games this year. All your tough games are at home. Well, they're on the road next year at Notre Dame, at LSU, at Texas, at Missouri. You flip it. So you would really want a veteran quarterback going into those environments. And I think you get enough pieces around to where a quarterback could really be the missing piece. So if he comes back next year, you still have Reed as your backup. You still have Henderson as your third guy. You still have Miles O'Neill in the building. But you also add Hassan Longstreet as long as they finish out that recruitment strong and they get him on campus. Do you think everybody stands pat in that situation, or do you think maybe someone would look to transfer? If I'm betting, in today's landscape of college football, and this is no inside knowledge, this is not having talked to anybody, I would just guess based on the landscape that given that room, given the future of the room, knowing you have Kasuga and you have Longstreet, I would wager at least one player would transfer, and it wouldn't be the starter. It wouldn't be Connor. So Reed or Henderson. And I don't know what those guys are thinking. From all accounts, they're great teammates, but they have to look out for themselves. And if the room gets that crowded, and you would imagine the next year, the team would be looking at the future potentially. Henderson, maybe, find opportunity elsewhere. I don't know, because the next year after that, Connor's out of the program, almost guaranteed. I would think by then he would go pro. Redshirt junior year, he could come back another year, but I would think he wouldn't. That's when the shuffle would begin, because you would have, I think, Reed, if he's back in the program, as the would-be starter, that you would think the favorite to win the spot. But Longstreet is really talented. He's a really talented young player, and Miles O'Neill really shot up the recruiting board at the very tail end of his high school career. At the very tail end, he started showing extreme talent, extreme arm talent. We know he has prototype size. So at that point, who knows who the favorite is, and who knows who would be looking to transfer at that point. So I'm just saying all this to say we're in a good spot in the quarterback room. You're going to have intense competition whenever Connor's out of the program, unless Reed runs away with it, which is very, very good chance he does, given that he already has experience this year in the bowl game last year. But great competition in that room will breed great success, and the cream will once again rise to the top. The same conversation we were having about the DB room this season. Got a bunch of new players in there, too many to play, and the cream rose to the top, and we're seeing that right now as they're progressing. So if this is a point of anxiety, which I've heard a couple people talk about this, about players transferring, don't worry about it. There's a bunch of good players entering this room and in this room now, and this quarterback room looks to be set for the next 4 to 5 years. And it's weird to think about this. Longstreet, Reed, Kasuga, O'Neill. One of those guys, very, very likely to be a star of the future. It's very likely that those names we're looking at right now is a future Texas A&M star, and that's really, really cool to see, really exciting. Colin Klein getting what he wants, getting the quarterback targets, committed to the program, and you got a long way to go in these commitments, but it's a really, really positive trend. On top of that, we're not going to get deep into this. The evaluation is looking pretty positive for this team as well, because a lot of players that were committed to Texas A&M have recently risen substantially on the recruiting rankings this week. 247, I think, did an update on all the recruiting rankings, and a bunch of commits have moved up. So let's just really quick before we round out before we end the recruiting talk, let's just look at where A&M stands on the landscape right now. Let me boost this up, and here are the rankings. Let me move my head over here. So A&M still sitting pretty at 8. I think that's a one-spot improvement since the last time we checked, with 17 4-star commits, Longstreet kind of bordering that 4 to 5-star territory. And A&M sitting pretty right now at 22 commits, a little bit more room to add. I think it's safe to say A&M ends with a top 10 finish this season. But A lot of guys are moving up, man. I feel really good about the evaluation of this team. Nelson McGuire is a guy who was like top 600 a few days ago, and he recently updated up to 139. It's looking really positive, man. So let's let Elko keep cooking. I know there's a lot of talks or questions about whether or not he had recruiting chops compared to what we had before. Jimbo was a great recruiter, but I think he has great eval right now, early days. That's a long-term discussion to get definitive answers, but it feels really, really good in the landscape of recruiting. So let's check in with the chat before I get into my next point. Once again, the call-in link is pinned in the chat. I see one person waiting. I see play to win in there. We're going to go through a couple more talking points. I want to talk about a couple of big games in the SEC this weekend before we get into the calls, and maybe I'll get some score predictions from you guys. But let's check in with the chat before we do all that. Noble says, unless Connor puts up near Heisman numbers, he's coming back another year. Totally agree. He's going to have to be extremely well, do extremely well to close this out. And it's on the table. Like, I would say it's greater than like a 10% chance. He has a chance to finish strong and go pro because he has the tools. He has what NFL scouts want. But it's late in the season, so we'll see. D-line's going to eat all day, says Randy. Shan says, I think Connor has to come back depending on the rest of the season. Yeah, for sure. Connor would have to light up every game with stats if he wants to leave. I bet he returns. Teresa says, I think he comes back. Yep. Hoping Reed would stay. Henderson's most likely gone, or O'Neal. It would make sense for them to find opportunity, and I don't think we would blame him. I don't think we would blame either of those guys because it's just how this thing works now. If Connor stays, I wonder if we lose a quarterback. I would bet we do. I mean, I could be wrong. I would guess that we do. Randy says, I think he will come back unless he shows out the rest of the season and beats Ewers or Manning head-to-head. Right. He would have to really show out. Will Connor turn into the Utah quarterback, 8th-year senior? No way. He's not turning into Cam Rising. That's not happening. Yeah, he's way better than Cam Rising from like just the raw base point outside of injuries, outside of red shirts and all that stuff. He's just a better quarterback. Connor Wigman will be back with a good year. The only way he leaves is if he sets the world on fire. If that happens, we'll have a great end of the season. Yeah, it's a win-win, right? That's a great point, Gary. If Connor plays himself into a draftable status this year, Texas A&M will be in the playoff, man. That's how good he has to play. And that's what it'll do for this team. So, and if he doesn't, and A&M ends the season like 8-9 wins, something like that, well, you get Connor back next year, and you probably feel pretty good about that. Reed's accuracy is still pretty sus. It is. He's young, but it is. He makes up for it with other stuff, but it's definitely the missing piece of the puzzle right now. Absolutely. Noble Guy says, hit that like, subscribe, and comment. Like and subscribe, people. Thank you, Noble. That really helps out a show like this. I appreciate all you guys. I see a lot of regulars in here. I'm sure most of you guys are subscribed. Just double check, make sure you are. I hate wasting Henderson on the bench. Should have moved him to H-back/wide receiver. I'm pretty sure he's on the injury report, which we probably need to mention before we get to the next point. Who do you got between Arkansas and LSU? I'm glad you asked, Kevin. We're about to get into that. Henderson is good enough to play quarterback in a lot of places. He won't change positions. Absolutely. Yeah, he needs to go play somewhere. Only reason TU's higher is because of the year they're having. If they ain't blue collar, we don't want them. That's right. Consensus number 8 in recruiting. I think Elko is the coach the players want to play for. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something we've heard from players in conversations and just interviews from his DC days here. Everyone just kind of raves about his scheme, his mind. They trust him, that he's a smart coach. I think he's also relatable. I think he gets after them, but I think when they sit down eye to eye, they can talk to each other. I think he's really good in that regard, Teresa. It's a good point. Do you think a 3-loss SEC team will make the college football playoff this year? That they're going to need some help from the rest of the country for that to happen. Like, I don't think a 9-3 team will get over like a Big Ten championship game loser, or even the third place team in the Big Ten. But I think there's a path to where teams win the right games, like in Arkansas. If they're able to beat Texas somehow, they drop one more game. They've beaten Tennessee. I think they play Ole Miss or something at the end of the year. They play LSU this week. There's a path for the right resume to get a 9-3 SEC team in, but they will need help, I believe. All right, let's get into a couple of big games coming up this weekend because the SEC is kind of on a hot streak right now, at least in terms of entertainment value and just great games. I mean, we watched Florida, Tennessee go down to the wire last week on this channel together. We did a live stream during the bye week. If you missed it, it was a good time. Just look out for my watch parties during the weekends of games. We watched Ole Miss and LSU go to overtime. Ole Miss leading the whole game and LSU clutching up and winning it at the end. It wasn't live streamed, but we watched South Carolina push Bama to the brink. A lot of crazy stuff happening in the SEC. And, of course, we have some big games this weekend. And let's talk about a game that has two common opponents facing off in a very important game to A&M. Is it important? Let's relate this to A&M first, because you play LSU next week. You played Arkansas about 3 weeks ago. Does it really matter resume-wise who wins this game? Because if Arkansas wins, Arkansas looks really good, and hey, you already got your work done there. You beat the Razorbacks at a neutral field. You feel pretty good about that. That win starts looking much better on a long-term resume. But if LSU wins the game, I mean, think about the atmosphere in Kyle Field next week. It's already going to be incredible, but think about like the national attention that game will get. Probably a top 14 matchup in Kyle Field. Probably will have earned the night game. And by the way, A&M and LSU both have to win this weekend, I think, for that game to get the night game slot. I think the other competitor next week, I forget which game it is. There's another one that we're competing against. I forgot off the top of my head. But both LSU and A&M win. We get the night slot. And we get to wear our black jerseys, and it'll be really nice. But who wins this game? I'll say this about LSU. I didn't expect them to be 5-1 at this point. I definitely had them dropping to Ole Miss last week, and they probably should have. I mean, Ole Miss lost that game by some missed field goals, 10 penalties, fumbles. But LSU just survived it, and they showed a lot of grit and won the game late. Now, here's what has surprised me in a positive way about LSU. I thought the defense was going to be absolutely anemic, and they're not the best against the pass. But they have found themselves with a pretty elite pass rush. I mean, Blake Baker went from Missouri, where he had the 11th rated team in sack totals last year, and now LSU is leading the conference in sacks. Did anybody have that on their bingo card? I mean, that's pretty impressive. So there's a little bit of life on the defense, more than I would have expected going into the year, because I thought it was going to be just a bad defensive unit. Excited to see A&M's O-line eventually go up against that. But I think Arkansas can run on the team, because we know about Arkansas's running tandem with Taylon Green, who is healthy and playing in the game. We know about Jaquindon Jackson. We know what they can do together. We know they have somewhat of an improved offensive line, although it's up and down because, like A&M's DB room, Arkansas's offensive line is built through the portal. Garrett Nussmeier, good quarterback. Has all the tools you would want, mobile enough, strong enough arm, accurate enough passer. But the consistency is kind of baffling there. I mean, he threw under 50% versus Ole Miss. And a lot of his balls were mysterious, man. I mean, he's throwing jump balls into double, triple coverage at times, just trying to give his receivers a chance. And he's not, I am so surprised he only threw 2 interceptions last game. So many of those balls just fell harmlessly to the turf. But that's not going to cut it against Arkansas. I know Arkansas doesn't have an elite secondary group, but they are opportunistic. 4 interceptions against Auburn, who does give the ball away. But it's an opportunistic group. I think, and this is probably not my preference, I think Arkansas gets the game at home. I think Arkansas has enough running the ball to control the game, at least to some degree. And I think Garrett Nussmeier is too inconsistent. Now, if he locks in and he's not making these bad decisions consistently, LSU can absolutely win it. They're not a strong running team. I know they felt like they had some momentum in the season running early, but it's kind of dwindled. I just think Arkansas controls the ball in the running game because LSU is not a great run-stopping team. I have Arkansas winning the game, but I think I want LSU to win, guys. I think I want that, like that holy shit mega matchup next week. And, of course, A&M has to freaking beat the hell out of Mississippi State for that to happen. So I'm going to be pulling for LSU a little bit in that regard, but really I have no preference. And I feel more kinship towards the Arkansas fan base. I've met a lot of cool hogs in my time. LSU, I'm not doing so well with them as far as like the fan interaction. Yeah, I think selfishly I'm going to root LSU this game, but I'm picking Arkansas if I have to bet. Vietnam is no joke, and that's where this game's happening. What do you guys pick in this game? I'd be interested to hear your predictions. All right. South Carolina OU, quickly on this one. South Carolina, great pass rush. Underrated defense overall. They have pieces all over the field defensively. OU, I rewatched their game versus Texas last week, pretty closely this week. I think they bailed on quarterback names escape me. They're on Hawkins now. The original quarterback, whose name escapes me right now, I think they bailed a little bit too early because I don't think Hawkins is a very seasoned textbook quarterback. A lot of unnecessary rollouts, a lot of just staring down single receivers. I just think OU's offense is just so bad. I think South Carolina has enough offensively. I really like Rocket Sanders. I really like Lenora Sellers, at least as a concept. Maybe not the most consistent quarterback, but he can definitely run, especially with that size. The game's at OU. I'm going South Carolina in this game, and I think that's really exciting for A&M's schedule. But I think there's also an argument to make that you want South Carolina to kind of start spiraling so that when you go to that game, they don't have as much riding on it, because that's going to be a huge atmosphere, especially if A&M finds themselves in a situation where they're still fighting for their season goals. I think it would be helpful if OU wins, but I'm picking South Carolina in this game. I really like their defense, man. They have two defensive ends there that are world beaters, and I don't think OU can handle it offensively. It's a low-scoring game, a 20-10 kind of game. I'm going with the Cox. Bama, Tennessee. Another big one in the SEC. Tennessee, where'd the offense go? They've had under 350 yards in 3 games in a row, and this is supposed to be a high-powered Tennessee offense with a solid offensive line, with a Nico Iamaleava, a decent receiver core, a good running back in Sampson, but the offense is just not consistent, man. Nico just seems a little bit, what's the word? A little hesitant. He kind of just stands in the pocket and waits for something to happen, and half the time the pressure catches up with him, or it's too late to hit a receiver. I feel like he's kind of freezing in the headlights lately. It's a young quarterback working through his first year at the helm, and I think that's really showing right now. Now, of course, Tennessee has that upper echelon potential. The defense is very solid, but their offensive line has kind of been lacking lately. Bama, on the other hand, their defense is kind of MIA right now. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not the Bama defense you would have expected. They're having to lean on their offense to score a bunch of points, to the point where if they have a turnover, or in last week's game's case, a safety, you're giving the other team a serious shot. The A&M, I mean, I'm always doing that. I'm always calling whatever team I'm talking about A&M because of this behind me. But Alabama cannot afford to get off schedule in this game, especially on the road. But I'm going to go with the veteran quarterback. I'm going to go with the solid O-line. And I'm going to take the Tide to win this game and knock Tennessee back a peg. They're already kind of dwindling, and I think this is the knockout blow. And I think the loser of this game, it's not an actual elimination game, but I think it's a de facto elimination. I think with half the season still to go, the loser of this game will not find themselves in the playoff. And that leaves us with one other big SEC game between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Texas Longhorns. And in the offseason and for the previous weeks, I've picked Texas to win this game. I think Texas just had too much continuity going into the year, too many familiar faces in key areas. You know, the quarterback, the offensive line, the receiver core who looks to be solid, a solid defense. And I just think the coaching and the chemistry is too strong at Texas right now. But as this week has gone on, and as I've thought about, Texas's opponents, and specifically rewatching that OU game, Texas hasn't faced an offense with a pulse. After rewatching that OU game, I realized how deficient that offense is, and we know what Michigan is. We know what the rest of their schedule has been. So where I had Texas maybe being a 10-point favorite in this game, and that was my prediction about a week ago, I think this is a nail-biter, man, and I think Georgia is absolutely capable of winning this game. I don't know that this Texas defense can stop any offense with a pulse. I don't know that. And now it's a great feather in your cap to hold a team to 3 like they did against OU last year, a Power 5 team against 3. But after rewatching it, man, that quarterback single read guy in Hawkins, just not trusting his pocket, running out of the pocket, drifting, cutting the field in half unnecessarily. I don't think OU has any kind of an offense. I'm going to pick Texas. I'm going to stick with my original pick, but this is like a 1-point win. I'll go 35-34 Texas. Very, very possible Georgia wins this one. And that leaves us with one more big game, at least to us. Texas A&M, the 17-point favorite over Mississippi State. I made my score prediction already. I said 38-20, but now it's your guys' turn. Y'all call in. Give me your score prediction for a chance to enter the Hall of Fame right there, of which we only have one winner so far on the year. It was Noble who got the score right versus McNeese, 52-10. He got it on a last-second field goal. So you're going to call in. You're going to give me your score prediction and what you want to see from the Aggies. I want to know exactly what you want to see. I could say keys to the game, but at this point in the year with so much ahead of us, I want to know what your wish list is in this game. So score prediction, wish list. For bonus points, if you want to, no Hall of Fame involvement. give me some score predictions in other games around the conference. But with that, let's check in with the chat one more time, and then we're going to get right into the calls. Let's see who we have waiting. We only have play to win waiting, so if you want to get a call in tonight, now's a great time. If not, we'll just call it a short show. That's fine by me. Shan says it's open season, but scary, but mad exciting. It's super exciting. HB says Arkansas is absolutely capable of beating LSU, especially at home. Texas knows they're next on Arkansas's list. I think Arkansas is winning the game. That's my prediction, man. I'm with you. The blackout at Kyle's gonna look insane. I can't wait, man. It's gonna be awesome. We're all gonna be wearing our jerseys, our black attire. It's gonna be a hell of a time. I know Mississippi State feels good about the receivers, but our D-line's gonna make it hard for them to get any kind of consistency. Just ask Missouri. I know, man. That's the key, and it's a young, developing quarterback. You got to hit him early. You got to get him off his axis early. I think the D-line can do just that, man. That's exactly what I'm banking on. Teresa says, I'm hoping for a night game against LSU. Me too. Every time Nussmeier throws a pick, it's a flag. Is that what happened? 45-17, says Jay Wynn. I love it. I would be so happy. Verse says, wearing black, hopefully a night game. I know, man. We're wearing black regardless. We got to make it a night game. We got to win. Nussmeier's a gamer, just inconsistent. We have to rattle him. Yeah, man. I mean, credit to him for clutching up and winning that game, but he's very inconsistent. Gary says, in my opinion, Bama handles Tennessee. Tennessee offense sputtering, 7-point margin. I'm totally with you there, Gary. Arkansas played a bad Tennessee offense, and A&M with Reed, which limited our passing game, 100%. That's very fair. That's very true. But Alabama's not clicking. Look what happened at home versus South Carolina last week. This flex schedule the conference is putting on us is crazy. It is wild. I don't understand it, but it's what we're living with for the next 2 years. How do you guys feel about the maroon pants and helmet? I love that he's switching it up every game, just building a little bit of hype every game with the jersey switch up. Jackson Arnold's the quarterback I think they bailed on early. Now, to oppose that line of thinking, they've seen him in spring. They've seen him in fall camp. And from all reports, he was an interception and turnover machine in those practices. So they probably had him on a short leash to begin with, but he must have been pretty bad because I don't think Hawkins is the guy right now, man. I really don't. I think Bama has beaten Tennessee 12 out of the last 13 games. That's correct. It's something along those lines. Tennessee's only won one. That was a couple of years ago. Hawkins is way too raw. The first few minutes, I knew they weren't going to beat Texas with him. There's no way. I'll take LSU over Arkansas just to make it that much more hype for the blackout. That's what I'm saying too. But I'm just, if I had to bet, I'm going to pick Arkansas in the game, which is crazy to say. OU was terrible. Gerald was literally all Arky fans. No, it wasn't. It was not. It was divided, and A&M's side went closer to the top, I thought. I don't know. I was sitting right in the middle, so I couldn't tell. I felt like it was very even as usual. Tennessee's going to make it a game. You think? It'll probably be competitive, but I just see Bama winning it. I know they're talking down on the SEC. They played State and depleted OU offense. Yeah, I know. They haven't played anybody yet. Their real SEC slate starts now. Texas does. Oh, who else is in here? Troy says 35-10 A&M, 31-14 Mississippi State, 31-24 Aggies, a closer game. Noble guy, I see you in the waiting room. Anybody else wants to get in there? Connor's the key this season. Absolutely he is. I feel good about pretty much everywhere. It's just you need to get consistent quarterback play. O-lines would give me hope. Connor's going to play well to finish the season. I think so. 38-13 Ags. I think LSU wins, but I'm pulling for Arkansas. If LSU wins and Ags win the next week will be a night game. I think so. All right, guys. Let's get right into the calls. I got play to win. Play to win. You're on with Drew. How you doing, my friend?
You say, Drew.
What's going on, man?
I'll do pretty good. It's a brand new season with a brand new coaching staff. Coach Elko. Colin Klein, offensive coordinator, Jay Bateman, our defensive coordinator, and I feel a lot more confident about in the way they played the last game. That going in Mississippi, a little apprehensive, and we haven't had a lot of good luck with Mississippi State in the last few seasons.
Yeah.
So I think we're going in with a brand new, a brand new staff, great players. And as far as I know, everybody's healthy. I didn't see anything really adverse about any of our players.
Oh, the one to look out for, I didn't mention it yet. The surprise addition to the injury report, Terry Bussey is questionable to play.
Okay.
So you can win versus Mississippi State without Bussey, but of course, trajectory next few weeks wise, You really wanted him to get another game under his belt because he's coming off his best game versus Missouri. But I'm with you, man. It's not too bad. We're in a really good spot. TJ Shanahan's not on the list, and that's a great addition to have.
Yeah, we need to get him back, and it must have been something pretty nagging. It's
Mm-hmm.
he's having trouble trying to get healthy from. But yeah, Terry Bussey. I mean, that's just one of our weapons, and we had so many.
Yeah.
Uh, we had so many the last game, and against Missouri. I mean, it was just like, take your pick, Connor. Just
Yeah.
do your reads, take your pick. And he's going to hit somebody, and somebody's going to shine for us. It's just one or the other. It's EJ Smith, or it's Le'Veon Moss. It's somebody is going to make the big play. And they did. We just we outshined Missouri by leaps and bounds. I mean, beating them 41-10 it was amazing. But going into this game, I'm just a little apprehensive, a little nervous, but once we get started and we get settled in and we start figuring out their defense, we start figuring out their offense, and go from there. And I've got all the faith in Colin Klein and Jay Bateman, Coach Elko, leading the charge,
Yeah.
so to speak, and that we come out ahead. I'm picking A&M to win 35-17, 35, and a late touchdown, a late game touchdown by Mississippi State. It's probably going to be 35-10. They'll just get lucky and get a touchdown. We might give up one more, and then we'll finish the game 35-17.
Yeah, I have 38-20, and that was exactly on my calculus. I feel like Mississippi State wants to get as many shots under their new quarterback's belt, so I think they're going to keep hammering to the end of the game. So I do see a world where they get a late touchdown. But yeah, man, I'm with you. And I was thinking about this today, leaving the gym. I don't know why I'm telling you where I was when I was thinking about this, but anyway, I was thinking about this earlier today. I have that same apprehension, but it's mostly based on history, right? Like if I'm looking
Yes.
at the team's trajectory and the team's trend this year, I should feel really good about this game. And I think when I was looking at the season as a whole early in the year, I did feel really good about it. But now that we're face to face with a Mississippi school in a place where A&M has not performed well recently, in the kind of a game that A&M has dropped in recent years, that all kind of comes back to you. And we're not yet at a program that has distanced itself from that like dialogue or that apprehension. So that kind of seeps in. But if I'm looking at Elko and I'm looking at Mississippi State, yes, Mississippi State feels good about themselves after what they did against Georgia in a loss on the road. But A&M feels pretty damn good about their trajectory too. A&M feels pretty good about their progress, just as well as Mississippi State might in whatever they're dealing with this year. And A&M is just a much more complete team right now. So A&M should be able to handle business, and I'm right with you with your score, man. I mean, what exactly do you want to see in this game? Give me one thing that maybe you want to see for the future arc of the season in this game.
Okay, well, just to let you know, I was leaving the golf course today, and it felt like a Saturday for some reason, and I had A&M Mississippi State on my mind. It's like, oh, it's afternoon. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Today's Thursday. I was just confused, but it felt like
Yeah.
a Saturday. I don't know why, but I was kind of with you over there. You were leaving the gym, and I was leaving the golf course,
Right.
thinking the same thing, brother. Um, okay, what was the question? What do we?
I just want one thing you want to see this game to give you confidence for the rest of the year.
That Connor Wigman performs again like
Yep.
he did against Missouri, and our offensive line have been, dude. They have. I mean, and they've been monsters. I mean, just the blocks and the traps. We got. Hopefully, we're developing the screen better because we tried one. It just didn't quite work against Missouri. But
Yeah.
I just want to see Wigman perform like he did the last game, and just another day at the office.
Yeah.
And he gets it done. And our defense, with the Scorton monster, he's our version of Bigfoot. He's just crazy. Jones and all of them. I mean, these guys. I mean, they are playing the run. I think better than I've seen them all season because we have developed game after game after game. We have developed the defense, and they have come out and they have performed above average, and almost at times perfect. Okay. And that's
Yeah.
why I feel real confident about our defense. Jay Bateman's got them guys. He's got them guys playing their best football right now, and we got everybody on the run. And I'll tell you what's going to happen too is that ESPN and CBS, we're going to force them to talk about us because we're going to keep winning. And they're going to have to talk about us because they don't want to talk about Georgia. We want to talk about Notre Dame. We want to talk about Ohio State. We want to talk about A&M. They were supposed to be Mississippi State. So, I mean, it's not going to be, it's going to be one of those games. But I was supposed to beat them.
Yeah.
So we're not going to really hear much of it. Well, you're supposed to do it. So you did. Okay, now you're 6-1. Okay.
Yeah.
You're 4-0 in conference. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to. Now, it's going to be beating LSU. It's going to be, when we get there. But right now we're on Mississippi State, and we need to concentrate on that game, and then we'll go from there. Okay, hopefully 6-1. But I'm picking the Aggies 35-17.
Hell yeah. I got you written down for that. I got you entered in the Hall of Fame. And yeah, we definitely are not the topic of discussion right now. And I think where A&M as a program is at this moment in the season, in year one under Elko, I think that's probably a positive for the team while they kind of work in silence, while they kind of just focus on themselves and they don't hear about, how great they are just yet. Because the way that Missouri game happened, I used this phrase last show, it was like guerrilla warfare. We popped out, we took care of business, we kicked some ass, and then we backed up and we just disappeared for a week in the bye week. And now we're coming back kind of quietly playing Mississippi State. Another chance to keep improving under the radar, get a good win under your belt. Hopefully they come out and perform and get that. And then they disappear again. And then all of a sudden you're back and LSU's the one. But you got to take care of business in this one. But all right, Play to Win. Any closing thoughts?
I'll be watching the game. Usually I'm catching it on YouTube off of somebody's channel. They're showing it.
Yeah.
And I think the game's at 3:30.
3:15. Weird time.
Of kickoff 3:15.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts I got is play to our best of our ability, play to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which I know we can, and I know we will, and our coach is going to have them guys hyped up, ready to play some great football, and let's just go out and beat the hell out of Mississippi State.
Let's get it. Thanks for the call, Play to Win. I'll see you next time.
Good talking to you.
Later. All right. Good call from Play to Win. I see some people saying that Bussy flipped to probable tonight. Let's see if that's the case real quick. And let's see if I can get this up. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Terry Bussy is now probable. Awesome. Probable typically in the sports world means 90% chance to play. So it looks like Terry Bussy should be back in action this weekend. Hopefully he's 100%. We don't know anything about it. Great stuff. And that's a very short injury list. I know these injuries suck. These are all big-time injuries. But to only have the 3 outs that are long-term deals, we're in a really, really good spot at this point in the year. Knocking on wood. All right, I think I saw one chat I wanted to address because I liked the question. Drew, how do you feel about having a team that not only feels partially complete, but also next man up mentality? It just seems like I'm not scared of one player going down and ruining our season. That's right, because those 3 injuries I brought up, Tyreek Chappelle, Mark Naboo, Ruben Owens, those are all in key spots. I mean, obviously, offensive line going into the year, absolute key position group for the 4 years in a row, and this was just like the last 4 years. And without Naboo, it has absolutely excelled. Without Shanahan, it excelled. Now you get Shanahan back and you're getting healthy on the offensive line. That feels so good. Chappelle, big-time loss to the nickel spot. You have Hill just entering the program. Obviously, he has, some stuff that we're looking at. But you also have BJ Mays coming on now, so you have some hope there. You have some options there. And obviously, Ruben Owens out. That'll always suck. That was always going to be the cherry on the cake or whatever. But you feel really good about what your running backs are doing right now thanks to Le'Veon Moss. And I think Amari still has another gear. But I feel really good about that, man. I feel really good about that. Next man up. Doesn't matter who's out there. A&M's just performing. It's a well-coached team. But all right, let's get to the next calls. Noble Guy, you're on with Drew. How you feeling, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, Drew? Long time no see.
I know. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. How you feeling?
I'm excited and I'm confident. Like, I know, a lot of Ags are, got, PTSD from going to Starkville, but I'm gonna be honest. This is a game we should win. I expect to win, and I think the players are taking it seriously. Like, there's so much noise about it being a trap game. Is it really a trap game anymore?
Right. I think that's been very much hammered in that it's a trap game. But
Yeah, we get it, guys. We get
yeah,
it.
yeah. But just thanks for bringing it up. I'll just say, I mean, like on paper, it's a trap game, right? Like you're coming off of a bye week, which was coming off
Yeah,
of a
on
big
paper.
win. You got LSU the next week, but I don't think this team's treating it like that. I really don't. I think this team is very much in the progression stage, and I think they're just going to push forward. But we got to see it happen.
No, I think and the way to best think about it is that like, and this is the way A&M has wanted to think about it, we just haven't been able to give ourselves the opportunity to do so because we do lose these kind of games.
Yeah.
Is that every game is like, unless we get to an Alabama level, which I don't think that anyone will ever get to an Alabama level ever again. Anyone can ever lose any game, but then there are games where you should win, expect to win, and so long as you just meet your own expectations, then you can have those expectations.
Yeah.
Obviously, history and trends and how you perform in situations will determine that. But I mean, based on what we've seen so far, like I mean, hey, we're the better team. So long as we play like the better team and we
Yeah.
just play to our level, then we've seen that the ceiling of our program lifted significantly the last few weeks.
Yeah, it feels that way. It's starting to feel like A&M kind of knows what they want to be. They kind of have an identity.
Hmm.
It's like a very complementary team when you're talking front seven to your secondary. I mean, the secondary
Yeah.
was helping the front seven get sacks the last two games. They're coming along. You're talking offense to defense, complementary football, defense getting off the field, getting the ball back to the offense. You're talking about an offense that only in the most recent game, but that's our latest sample size, balanced approach. About half their total yardage was running and passing. Very balanced,
Yep.
complete team right now, and they just gotta, keep pounding the rock, keep chipping away, and bring that every single week, but keep getting better. That's the exciting part. So yeah, man, I want to see that. So what specifically, one or two things you want to see from the team that'll give you some confidence about its progression?
Yeah. Okay. So a couple things like and play to win. I already mentioned it was the continuing of the passing attack from Connor Wegman.
Yeah,
Want to see another sample size, but I'm confident that's. So I'll change my answer too. I want to see essentially no leakages from the DB group. If we just allow no more than two big plays all day long, I'll feel really good about it because this is Mississippi State's MO. They want to take their shots downfield. It's Jeff Lebby's system, and they're going to try to get their wide receivers in a situation against our DBs where it's most advantageous for them. And if our DBs can play, next level, that's awesome because all the top tier teams have top tier wide receivers. That includes Texas.
yeah,
If A&M can essentially shut that down to the point where like Mississippi State has almost nothing going like that through the air. Not saying I'm predicting that, but if they do show that they have the chance to be elite in the back end. Because I think we're really good right now, not elite there yet, but this is a chance to take a step forward. And I have a feeling that during the bye week, there wasn't just time to relax and you know read their press clippings, but to actually get better, move forward. Like
yeah,
in the radio show that Elko had, he's talking about how there are players who are physically stronger and better in condition they are now they were at the
yeah.
beginning of the season. That's a pretty wild thing to say.
Yeah, he says they're still strengthening right now during the year, man. Yeah, and I hope they were, and it sounds like they were just getting work done last week, getting appropriate rest and rehab, getting everything they need done, man. But yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. I think in a slightly unrelated note to the game or maybe even the season, but I want to see as far as talent acquisition goes, like we saw some premier games last week.
Yeah,
Amazing games, and I think A&M is on the cusp of we got to put some wins together before we get too far ahead of ourselves. But if we really want to compete for the top level, I love to see us to go get a absolute like elite wide receiver talent. Like as much as like we I mean we saw Evan Stewart go to Oregon and just typical Evan Stewart and doesn't show up until like the big game,
yeah.
but he
Ohio
showed
State.
up and he showed up big, and that's like the kind of wide receiver talent you need to where like it doesn't matter how good the coverage is or if you just get a DB elite wide receiver 1-on-1 like the kid for Alabama. Obviously Evan Stewart's an example they got, and Texas always rolls out wide receiver production. Not necessarily we're going to be a passing attack, but we need to have a passing threat. at that level.
Yeah.
That's what I really like to see. Like the one thing that A&M could really step forward in, talent acquisition. I think.
Yeah, and one of the pieces towards that I think is Colin Klein still in the prove it phase of his career. I would say, I think at
I
this
think so. Yeah.
stage, if the team shows continued passing chops similar to what we saw in the Missouri game going forward, that's going to bode well for drawing those players in. Also, I feel like the quarterback recruiting and then seeing Connor develop, that's also going to draw players in. And then I think you lose a few receivers this year. I think Jaday's a senior. I think Barber's a senior. There might be one more that I'm blanking on, but you have a couple guys out, and you're going to have some vacancies potentially on the team. So that means you can maybe make a splash there. But it's all about, I think, this team proving that they have a legit passing attack under Klein, which seems to be trending in the right direction. I wanted to go back to what you were saying about A&M's DBs on your first point and how, that just kind of makes the defense complete. The DBs played against two pretty good receiver cores the last 2 weeks, and Arkansas had a decent receiver core. I think they've shown that. I think Satenya played really well versus Tennessee, and that's a good defense. I think Tesla is kind of coming on. He had that huge touchdown against us, and obviously Armstrong's one of the best in the conference. Giving up one big play a game, but outside of that, they're doing pretty damn well. And I will say, and I've been saying, of all the position groups on A&M's team, I think the DB room has the most room for growth, and that's just because of youth. It's a bunch of new players coming together on this team, or players graduating to bigger roles like a Dalton Brooks going from redshirt last year to starter this year, or a player like Des Ricks going from redshirt last year at Bama to starting here. And these guys are just going to get better and better, and they're going to form chemistry. They're going to communicate better. So I think the chances of them just getting better is going to really shine through. And on that Mike Elko radio show you just referenced, when asked what was maybe the most improved position group, he said the DBs was one of them. So I think there's a lot of room for growth there. And I guess I got to ask you your score prediction to see if you can get back on that Hall of Fame again.
Yeah. Okay. So, our scores are very similar. I'm going 38-23.
Okay.
And I'm going like halftime prediction of 24-13. I'm hoping, obviously, it's more of a bigger score than that. I think, essentially, defense, shuts them down for the most part, and offense just moves that well. We've scored. Get this, by the way, I went into the numbers. So A&M averages is about 11 drives a game, and excluding kneel downs, we score on every other drive. So 50% of our drives we end in a score.
And I think they've scored on every first drive of the year except for maybe one. So they're always starting strong within the scripted plays. So it's nice. They've been starting strong offensively, but that's really cool, man. I mean, they've been making the most of their drives, and I think they scored on their first 4 drives against Missouri. Definitely keep that up. You definitely want to handle your business early in a game like this. So you got 38-23, and they're going to have, what'd you say, 14 at the half?
13 at the half. So I think 24-13 us at the half. And then I think because – man, it might be too generous. I think Mississippi State's offense is starting to click, and they've been battle tested for the last 2 weeks. I'm curious, and they're going home. That's the only reason why I think they're able to put 23 points. And then there's a late touchdown at the end that allows them to keep it, have 23 in the first place. But for the most part, will be the control. The only reason why I don't have, because I think we have the ability to score on like 7 out of 11 drives, is because A&M has a tendency to slow down in the second half on offense.
Every big game they've done that.
And I was gonna ask you, do you think they continue that MO and just pound the rock in the second half? Because I kind of want to see that. If it was me personally, I would use that second half to essentially just like open up the playbook to try out, like, hey, let's keep airing the ball out. Let's keep, not just like eat clock and have like 7-minute drives are awesome, but I would love to see just a passing drive just to see if we can do it.
I know what you mean, but I would wager they keep doing that because that's the established trend. It was the Florida game.
I think so too.
Throttle down. Missouri game, throttle down. Both games, like halfway through the third quarter, I don't think they threw but maybe one pass after those points in both of those games. Obviously, McNeese, they took the starters out like in the second quarter. Like they're very, very, they gravitate towards doing that. So I would imagine they do it again. And what that does, I guess, is it just keeps more of your play designs and your trends off film, so you can't see how you close. They can't see what you go to late, which I think is an advantage. But it would be nice to get some points on the board. I just think, again, you got to get your business done early to get to those things. But all right, Noble, I appreciate the call, man. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, a couple things real fast. I think initially I wanted LSU to win this game a lot. I still do want them to win, but I don't think it matters so much because if LSU wins, great. We got a premium matchup at home. If they lose, then there's that much more separation in the SEC from us and everyone else, more buffer zone. And then I think Georgia wins on the road. That's my hot take of this week.
Nice. I think it's very possible they win. But all right, Noble, appreciate the call. You have a great night. I'll talk to you after the game.
You too.
All right, that was Noble. I wanted to address a couple things in the chat before we get into Shan, Vudge, and Patrick, who are in the waiting room. A lot of talk about the tight end rooms. I know people want to see more Thor. People asking about Donovan. Here's what I'll say about seeing more Thor. If what we saw versus Missouri is how it's going to be in the future, I just trust the quarterback. I just trust Connor to take what's given because that's what he did in the game. If it's a check down, he hit one check down to Thor. He hit one check down to Watson. Those guys are great weapons, but you also have great receivers. I just want them to remain excellent options for Connor Wigman. If there's a game where they're called upon, so be it. If there's a game where they're faded, I'm okay with that too. Right now, I think we all feel pretty good about them as options. And yes, it'd be nice to see them get after it, but I'm going to trust the quarterback right now as long as we keep getting that performance. On Donovan Green, I haven't mentioned this yet. I mentioned it at the preseason, but I haven't talked about it since then. I think if we're going to see Green this season, it'll be pretty soon. Like, if it's a season where he can kind of start working himself into it after he's gotten some work under his belt, I think that would start maybe this game. And you have another bye week, maybe that's the one. But I would really think a game like this is where you'd have a chance to see him if he's able to make an impact this year. So if it's going to happen, I'd look out for it now. That's just my opinion, of course, and I don't know that for sure. But all right, let's get right into the next call. We got them stacking up. Shan, you're on with Drew. How you feeling tonight, my friend?
Drew!
What up? What up?
More importantly, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Dude, I'm so
I wanna
happy.
hear your thoughts.
I'm so happy to be back, man. Look, I've been looking forward to doing this stream all day. I haven't talked to you guys in like 2 weeks. We got Aggie football coming up. I'll be live streaming the damn game. It's going to be a great time, dude. I'm feeling good.
Yeah. I know we've been chatting back and forth on Twitter about it. And I'm kind of been feeling, scratching at the neck a little bit. So I'm ready as well, man.
How you feeling about the jerseys?
I mean, cool.
Yeah.
You know? Cool. I'll take it. I know Mississippi State's wearing, what are they doing? White, maroon?
Yeah, that's what they're doing. I like it when we do that.
We're getting a little cocky with the maroon, white, and maroon pants.
I know. We're getting very cocky. We're switching it up every game.
It might be part of the game plan, baby.
I know.
Whatever.
I know. They can't get a beat on us, man. We're switching it up on them. Uh-oh. I might have lost Shan. Shan, did your phone fall asleep? Yo. Uh-oh.
You there?
Yeah, I got you back. You're muted. I got you back.
My
Now
bad,
you're good.
man.
You're good.
My bad.
All good.
But yeah, as for the uniforms, maybe it's part of the game plan. I don't know. That's cocky. But
yeah. I'm all about it. So what do you want to see, man? Like, what is your? I'll ask you the same question I've been asking. What do you want to see from this team specifically that gives you confidence about the progression?
So I want to see some dog from Wiggs because we know we've got it. He scrambled a couple times last game, did the whole wipe your nose, point to the end zone.
He did.
I want to see more of that. I want to see that cockiness, but humble at the same time, you know?
Yeah, and that was a sick play because that was the play where he had nothing going in the passing game. He scrambles left, pump fakes it, gets a guy in the air, then scrambles down the middle for a first down, and he gets wiggy with it, man. It's awesome to see. I want to see him stay loose.
Oh, brother needs to know how to slide, though. It makes me nervous, but you know what? It is what it is. He's out there. We're not.
I know.
You know?
It's been a thing for 3 years now, man. He doesn't like to slide, man. He's crazy. He likes the contact, and some people like it, but yeah, man, I'd like to see it
like Johnny
too.
did.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to hit him in the face a little bit to kind of get him going, and you know what? Let it ride.
Exactly, man. What else you want to see?
I mean, I've been hearing kind of from the grapevine that, you know, the Mississippi State defense is kind of weak a little bit. So
Yeah.
we need to, be on our, like, same as Missouri, air it out, run game strong, all of it.
Yeah, I know, man. Here's the thing. A&M has a chance to just play their game in this game. So they need to go out there and set the tone. I'm going to keep saying it early. Just play your game, run the damn football, run play action, get a lot of players involved in the game, and get it done early, man. That's all they got to do. This defense, there's a lot available for A&M against this defense. Now, their offense, they might make a play or two in the game, and nobody should be surprised if they hit one. That's what they've been doing the whole year. They put up decent numbers. They're averaging like 28 points a game. They're not like a bottom cell. They're not a great team, but they're not a bottom dweller. So, yeah, they're going to score. Now it's up to A&M to just control the game offensively. But you got a score prediction for me?
Exactly. We've got the defense to do it. I'm going to go ahead and go 30-17. I want to see some team unity and some helmet bashing on the sidelines.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love the sideline vibe this year, man. Trooper Taylor.
Somebody light me up.
Boom. Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. I love how they're getting together on the sidelines.
Let's go.
The vibes on the team seem excellent. Any closing thoughts, Shan? Appreciate the call, man.
That's it, brother. You go ahead and get to the next call. I'll stay tuned in, and I got to figure out what I'm going to DoorDash from here.
Hell yeah, man. Have a good time with that. You have a great night, my friend.
You too, brother. Gig 'em.
Gig 'em. All right, Shan. Appreciate the call. Enjoy the DoorDash. It's always easy to pick Panda Express on the old DoorDash. I always got to stop myself from doing it. Casey in here. Good to see you, Casey. I see Ted Prickett in here. Getting in, getting out, has to go to bed. But he's sticking to his preseason prediction that the good old Stark Vegas snake bites A&M yet again. I hope to prove you wrong, and they indeed will prove it if they win. SB says, special teams have been bad. Blocked punt, almost giving up an onside kick, got a fake punt run on us. We need to stop a fake. We did stop a fake field goal, though. I'll say yes. There have been bad moments, but there are also areas of the special teams I'm very happy with. There's also been 2 kicks out of bounds or 3 kicks out of bounds we need to stop. Obviously, punting is good. Field goals are good besides the Florida game. And I'm really, really liking Bussy fielding punts, not as an explosive player, but just making good decisions. But yeah, there's some stuff to clean up there for sure. Let's hope that doesn't bite us in the butt. Get that fixed by South Carolina because they're going to run some weird shit on you. That's what they do. All right. Tyler White is insane. Yes, he is. SB Hustler says, when we inevitably don't play as well as we did against Mizzou, will you be one of the people talking about how we've taken a step back? I don't doubt we win, but Mississippi State gives teams troubles. I have no idea what I'll talk about until I see the game. I think Aggies will make the CFP. I was at the Missouri game 2 weeks ago. I was there too, and I love your prediction, man. I hope it happens. Connor slides forward. He does into contact, and SB says there's a debate on slides. A lot of quarterbacks get hurt late hits on slides. You're more vulnerable on the slides. Bama's quarterbacks also dive instead of slide. He's kind of diving late, though. He's kind of diving at the point of contact. I feel like he can make a little bit of an effort to get down earlier, regardless of if it's a forward or foot first slide, whatever it is. Slides are better early, but you miss 2 to 3 yards. Oh, yeah. I hate it when quarterbacks slide 2 yards in front of the line of scrimmage or the line to gain. Especially even on second down or first down, slide forward in that situation. But yeah, for sure. All right. Mississippi State O-line is full of transfers. I think the quarterback's a true freshman. I think our D-line takes advantage of this and dominates 41-14 Aggies. Yeah, absolutely the case, and I hope that happens, and I think it will. That's my defensive key to the game. Get that young quarterback uncomfortable against a very average to below average offensive line. All right, next caller. Vudge, you're on with Drew. How you feeling, my friend?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Doing good, man. What's going on?
So I wanted to come on here and eat some delicious crow. Because last time I was on here, I said I thought Mizzou had what it takes to beat us.
That's right, you did.
And boy, was I wrong. Oh, my God. What a fun watch that was. But I feel good about it.
I know, man.
I wish they could have made me feel a little bit worse about it. But, man, that was a great win.
It's hard not to just love everything about that game, man. Now,
yeah.
It was a top-to-bottom domination. I mean, yes, the only thing you can point to is there were still a couple busts in the secondary, but that's one of the better receiver units you'll see on the year. I mean, the quarterback's not really helping them out as much as they need, but that's still a damn good receiver unit, and A&M handled business, man. It was incredible.
Yeah, no doubt. And what was cool is, when we played Florida, we were whooping their ass, and they got a little lackadaisical going in the fourth. Mizzou, we just ran table. So that was sick to see.
Oh, yeah, man. And that goal line stand to close the game out when the game was over.
Dude. I was on my feet, bro. That shit was so sick.
That was insane, man. And
Yeah,
then
just
Elko
third
gets
string
out
dudes
there.
like, nah, dude.
Elko's like hyping the crowd up after that
Yeah,
stop.
hell yeah, dude. That was such a sick win.
That was like a culture moment, man. I know that's a corny thing
for
to say, but
sure.
it felt like something like that.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed Elko, and I wanted to talk about recruiting a little bit, but just on Mississippi State real quick.
Uh-huh.
We played them last year, 52-10 them,
Yeah.
and then fired Jimbo.
Weirdest
Yeah,
12
dude.
hours ever.
But I'm saying, like, you better beat Mississippi State, dog. I know they're not the same team. They played Georgia well, but brother, we're firing head coaches after we play you. We don't give a shit. Like,
That's true. That's true. We fire head coaches after we blow your ass out. Let's
exactly.
go. Yeah.
No. So I'm excited to see what Elko does. I think they'll score. He played really well as a freshman against Georgia, but
He did.
what's it called? So I wanted to talk about recruiting for a second.
Sure.
And you were talking about at the top of your show about kind of, Jimbo and Elko and seeing kind of where he can get the recruiting machine up to.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I wanted to talk about was just like when he came in, like you remember the Stoops fiasco, being able to get Scorton and Bussey to me was such a good sign.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I think that was like probably the biggest question about him being an SEC head coach when you were going through the coaching search.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing we were letting go of was pretty much guaranteed recruiting success and adding, a newer coach to the market. And you're absolutely right. Keeping Bussey, adding Scorton. And before you get into your points, I know you want to make, you're leading me to a point I want to make. He's playing from behind with high school recruiting. So that's part of the equation. But with the portal, it's even playing field every single portal window. So it's you can't be recruiting them unless you're tampering, which some teams do. But we saw what he can do on a level playing field in this last portal cycle. And there was a lot of vacancy here, but the players he got and the evaluations he made on some of these players has been absolutely stellar. I mean, look at the secondary. A bunch of those guys are transfers. I mean, a bunch of mainstays on this team are transfers right now. Look at the O-line. So, yeah, really good sign. Agree with you.
No, 100%. And that was one of the things, like you mentioned the secondary and him kind of hitting. That's one of the things that I'm curious to see, like him versus Jimbo. And you've already seen great signs of it. But it's like Jimbo, he came in his first, like that 2019 recruiting cycle. Well, we got like Isaiah, Anias, fucking
Weidemeyer.
a bunch of dudes. Like DeMarvin, I think, was in that recruiting
he was.
cycle.
He was. Damani. Yeah.
Damani. So he was really good at hitting on quality college talent. And thus far, it seems like Elko can too. But like one of the things that gives me pause a little bit, and I'm sure you're familiar with it, is like Holman Wiggins at Bama, really good recruiter as far as like rankings are concerned. A lot of the dudes that he got or are attributed to him weren't really contributors at Bama at any given point in time.
I think his biggest accolade, I think he coached Jamison Williams on that 1-year deal when he came from Ohio State. I think that was a pretty good feather in his cap. But besides that's a correct. I guess if you're being nitpicky, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's like, and I'm still like on board with the guy. You've seen him do it at a high level, but that's just what I'm just curious as to what like evaluation will look like at the high school level.
Right.
And like, if he can hit the way Jimbo hit, and then you get to marry kind of like his coaching style, then it's like, like I'm so impressed with what he's been able to do this season. It's like, it's really already for me surpassed expectations. So like, I'm excited for the future if he can actually hit the way we have in the past.
Yeah, man. And look, if it ends up he's pulling, top 10 classes, but he's not in that top 5 like Jimbo was, but the evals are great and you're getting the right guys and you're having kind of a fleshed out class rather than, one gripe about the 2022 class, but it was very defensive line focused, maybe some character issues in that class. You avoid that kind of stuff. And he's developing and the team can get better within a given season like we're seeing right now. That's plenty enough to compete. That's more than enough with what he's able to do. Yeah.
And, I'm gassing up Jimbo, but he also had like the Damon DeMosses of the world in those classes.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that'll be an issue with Elko.
Right.
But, and it was also tough because like the high end dudes that were leaving this year, like Nolan and Stewart, were us. So you kind of just had to give up on those guys. But yeah, he's done a good job. And that was really all I really had,
Yeah, I got you. Hey, give me a score prediction though before you get out of here so you can enter this Hall of Fame deal.
I'm going to say 33-20 us.
Yep, that's pretty close. I think I have 38-20. Yeah, sounds about right. I definitely see them scoring a late touchdown. But all right, Vudge, if you have nothing else, you have a great night, and I appreciate you calling in.
You too, brother.
Later.
Peace.
All right, that was Vudge with another good call. But anyway, how you feeling, Jeb? You want to talk some shit yourself in your own
Yeah,
right?
it's nice. I know the bye week is it's good to rest players and to relax for us because there's not a lot of stress. But man, when A&M doesn't play on the weekends, I just get kind of bored.
Yeah, I know.
It's just weird like not seeing them play. So I'm glad they're back. I think this is like the perfect team to play right after a bye.
Yeah.
And I know historically, since joining the SEC, I get why people are scared. Starkville and has been kind to us, but this is not the same team. We played those teams were.
Yo, Jeb, I think I lost you. You there?
Can you hear me?
Got you back.
Yeah, my phone like falls asleep if I don't like touch it. It's kind of annoying.
No, it's all good.
But yeah, I mean, this state team, I know people think they're getting better, but they're still not good. They're 1-5.
They're not. They're not good.
They
They're
got-
feeling good about certain things.
They
just
got blown out by Toledo.
They
Like,
did.
come on.
I even brought that up. They got blown out by Toledo.
I know it was Blake Shapen
At
but,
home.
they got blown out. I know they're probably better, but young quarterback. I've watched a few of their games. They got some decent weapons on on offense at receiver, but their offensive line's bad. It's just like similar to Florida.
Yeah.
Nice weapons, decent quarterback play, but if you don't have a good offensive line, it doesn't matter.
I like the combination of a young but decent quarterback and a shaky offensive line. That plays right into A&M's hands, man.
Oh, absolutely. Rattle him early. I don't care. I mean, people said the swamp was really hard to play at, and we pretty much blew out Florida. It was 33-7.
Yeah.
It was pretty much a blowout. I mean,
They took
This
the
game
foot off the
could-
gas. They take their feet off the gas. They could have scored more.
yeah.
They could have scored more versus Missouri. But
If this game is close, I'll be disappointed because I think if you want to be an elite team, I think if you want to compete for SEC championships, you got to blow out a team like this.
yeah, you have to. You have to.
You're just a better team. You got better depth. It could be close for a little bit, but I expect Aiden to kind of break loose.
Look, the only way I'll take it as a close game is if they clearly just play out of their minds and it's apparent that that's a better team than their record. But if A&M is playing like shit and if A&M's, giving up bust after bust or A&M's like taking a step back offensively and that makes it a close game, that'll make me feel bad.
yeah, I'm just confident. We haven't really seen that yet from A&M this year, though.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a whole lot of just meltdowns,
It was the first game of the year
Right.
and a little bit versus Bowling Green, but they've put that in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, for sure. And I know I've been watching a lot of Mississippi State, analysts this whole week, and I mean they seem very confident.
Yeah, they do. Oh my gosh, I know. I've been doing
Dude,
the
they're
same
like
thing.
really confident.
Oh, I know, man, and they just lost by 10. But anyway, yeah, they're super confident. They think that performance is what's going to take them.
To an
upset
that's crazy.
this year.
Like after a loss, like they acted like they won. They acted like they beat Georgia.
All
Like,
right.
dude, y'all still lost. Dude, the game was 33-10 at one point. I think Georgia just took their foot off the gas.
Jeb, I have a secret, and this is something I've hinted at on X, which I know you're not on, and it's something that I think you said before. But depending on what happens this weekend, I think A&M might be better than Georgia.
Dude, am I crazy to say that? Like
No.
I've been watching Georgia.
They don't look great.
They don't look great. Like their defense is shaky. They don't have the weapons on offense.
And I'm not sure that we have elite weapons either, but I think we might have more than them in the weapons department.
I'll take our receiving group as a whole versus theirs.
Yeah.
I know they like Dylan Bell. I know Dylan Bell's good, but he's not phenomenal. He's not like a game changer. Because last year they had Brock Bowers, who was unguardable, and they had McConkey, who was a really good like Araniah Smith. They don't have that powerful weapon. They have Trevor Etienne.
Yeah.
He's a good player, but I haven't really seen much from him this year.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Eventually, when you put guys in the NFL every single year, you're going to have a down year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And they might be having one, but they also have a major chance to turn that narrative around this weekend. And A&M has to, recreate what they just showed versus Missouri, and a little bit of, like the trends have to continue. But as it stands, if both trends continue, I think Mississippi State might have their hands even more full this weekend. And I think A&M is at a place in a program where maybe Georgia like looks past Mississippi State because a lot of those players, even if they're not experienced on the team, they've been around there and they're waiting for those big games. They've been playing nothing but big games their whole time at Georgia. Maybe they
Oh
look past
yeah,
Mississippi
it's
State.
inferior. It's inferior opponent to you. Like you can't. It's like when you play non-conference games against scrub cupcakes.
Exactly.
You can't hype up your team because they know they're probably going to win. They know you can't hype them up.
Yeah, yeah, and A&M, I think A&M gives them all they can handle this weekend. So, all right, Jeb, score prediction. What you got?
I would love to see 50.
Ooh.
I would love to see 50, but I'm gonna be conservative. I'm going with like 38-7, maybe 38-10.
I'll give you 38-10. I'll give you 38-10.
I think if they score 38, I'll be happy. If they can get like in the 40-50 range, I'll be very happy.
If 38's your conservative, I think we're looking pretty good, man. I think we're looking pretty
The
good.
perfect weekend is just a blowout win and then Texas falls.
Dude, we need to handle business because I want to enjoy those freaking night games. We got to handle business.
Absolutely. I'm surprised the game is not like at 11 a.m.
3:15 is a weird ass time.
It's a weird ass time because it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like day games, but this is like not really like a big matchup for most people. So it's like usually I like the more slow matchups in the morning games to kind of get them done so you can just relax the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But man, I'm so pulling for Georgia, man. Like I'm tired of seeing the Texas comments everywhere, dude. They're everywhere.
Shit.
Oh, I thought y'all said the SC was going to be hard. Y'all played two. First of all, you played Oklahoma, who's a first-year team as well, with a depleted offense.
Yeah.
And then you played State, who's going to finish last in the SEC. Like, come on, man. Like, I get it. I get you're 6-0, whatever. You're feeling good. I get it, but it's like, all right, man, come on, pump the brakes a little bit.
You're absolutely right. They run the SEC. They played Oklahoma and Mississippi
I was
State.
watching it. I was watching it on my phone during the game against Arky. Dude, that game was close.
It was close for a half and a half.
For until the third quarter.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, I thought Arch Manning was a god.
Yeah, right. Hey, I'll say this though: they have a chance to make it happen, but they're about to get the real test right now.
I think at home, I think they'll make more plays. I mean, I think Georgia might get up. They might get up and they might play lights out like against Bama in the second half.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get that version. I mean, we're going to know more about both these teams because Texas hasn't been tested offensively by anybody.
Yeah.
So we'll see how good their defense really is.
So you got Texas winning it, obviously going for Georgia. Who do you have? LSU, Arkansas?
Oh, man, that one's hard because I hate LSU, dude. I really hate LSU.
Yeah.
I think it's a win-win for me, personally, because if LSU wins and if A&M wins, you're looking at top 15 matchup, hopefully a night game. But if Arkansas wins, okay, they beat up LSU for us, and then it makes us look even better because we beat Arkansas with a backup quarterback.
Right.
That's the way I see it.
100%.
Like, I kind of want Arkansas to win. Like, in my head, I want Arkansas to win because I do kind of like Arkansas.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
But LSU.
You're right. It's a win-win. That's such a good point.
I selfishly want to be the team to beat LSU and knock them out.
Yeah, exactly. But also it's a win-win, like you said, because then you get the marquee matchup with a top 10 team or whatever. So yeah, man, you can't lose. But you're picking LSU. Is that what you're saying?
Oh man, dude, that's a tough one. That's a hard one for me to say. I guess I'm gonna go with LSU.
Okay.
Are you going to the game next weekend?
LSU? That's a game time decision for me. I'm either gonna stream it or go. I'm not deciding.
Better hurry, man. Those ticket prices are going up.
Well, here's the thing. I'm definitely going to the Texas game. It's happening.
Dude, you're going to do that? I want to, man, but those tickets.
I'm gonna make it happen one way or another. I cannot be anywhere else in the world than there that night. I just can't do it.
Is it so? Did they say when? I haven't looked at the schedule honestly with the dates. Is it going to be on a Friday night?
No, it's a Saturday game. It's a Saturday game.
Oh, it's a Saturday game. Okay.
Yeah. I think they might change it in the future, but as of right now, it's a Saturday game.
I hope it's a night game though, because usually Ohio State and Michigan they usually play in the morning, right?
That should be big noon, and then I think the what else is the big game that
game
day?
Game day has to be in College Station that week, right? I mean, it's like the biggest and most anticipated matchup. Of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both teams have to kind of excel into the end of the year, but absolutely, man.
But those ticket prices, man, they're gonna go up. If both teams are like top 5 going into like top 10. I mean, they're going to be insane,
Dude,
man.
I feel
Like
so guilty talking about it though. I feel so
I want to go
guilty
so bad.
talking
Trust me,
about
dude.
it.
First game in like 10 years. I'm one of the old fans who loves that rivalry. I have a few buddies who went to A&M. They're not diehard A&M fans like me,
Yeah.
and they don't really care about the matchup. They don't think it's necessary. But like, dude, it's for bragging rights, man. It's for bragging rights. It's for recruiting.
I know.
And man, like I hate my one of my UT buddies has a Texas podcast, and dude, I can't even watch it because I just get irritated.
I know it, man.
You want to support your friends, but dude, I can't watch it, man. I ignore it.
I know the only Texas content I watch is my brother, and he's actually my brother Jeb on Texas.
Okay,
Platinum.
I didn't know if you were being like, if that was like if you're being like sarcastic. I was like, are y'all really related?
He's my blood brother. Yeah.
He's your blood. I was thinking maybe he was like, I don't want to sound offensive. I thought maybe he's like a half brother.
No. He's the real deal. I know we look nothing alike and we talk differently, but no, we're
It's
related.
weird because you kind of look more Hispanic than he does. He just kind of looks like just a white dude.
Yeah, I guess I got all the Hispanic that
No,
they
I
had.
feel you. I have an older brother, and you know our dad's white, so dude, he doesn't look half at all. Like
Yeah.
I have more of tanner skin, and he just looks like a straight white guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're similar skin tone, but I think I'm hairier than him, so it makes me look darker. This is going off the rails, but my dad's kind of like a darker Hispanic. My mom is like white, but she's also Hispanic. So it's like we're just a crazy blend, but it is
man,
what it is. He's my brother.
I didn't know if you were messing with me, dude, when you kept saying that. I was like, is this dude being sarcastic?
No, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. But that's the only Texas content I'll watch because they're pretty
crazy.
chill. They're pretty chill.
He lives in Chicago, right? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
How did he become a Texas fan and you and A? I mean, obviously you went to.
I went to A&M and he went to Texas. It's just how it worked out. But he's in Chicago for like graduate school, so he moved there recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, man, I can't imagine because me and my brother, we're a big A&M fan. My dad's an A&M fan, which is weird because we didn't grow up in Texas, but we were just fans. And
dude, I don't know what's gonna happen the week we play. We might hate each other. We might not even talk for a month when that game
you can't
happens.
post anything on Twitter. You guys stay off social media. That's what I do. If we go through like a heartbreaking loss, I just don't go on the internet for like a week or two until the next game.
Yeah. But here's the thing, dude. Like I said, I feel guilty talking about this shit because we got to handle Mississippi State right now. That's the deal.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
I'm confident. I mean, and I'll even go a step further. I'm not as terrified of South Carolina, I think, as most people are going into, that game is it Columbia?
It's in Columbia.
I think South Carolina's a very good team, but I just think they're on like a downward spiral kind of right now.
But they looked good last week versus Bama. They made shit happen.
Dude. I think their quarterback play is holding them back.
Yeah, he's hit or miss. He has good moments, but I don't think he's enough to bring him elevate the team.
Yeah, like they have, and you see that in the SEC this year. You see so many good defenses, but no offenses.
It's weird. Like Tennessee's offense fell off a cliff.
Oh, dude, they were raving about that quarterback for how long? He was a Heisman candidate. Yeah, but if you look at Tennessee, they don't have great weapons either. I mean, they have their running back. He's good, but he's not like I don't think he's like a top 5 in the SEC.
No, yeah. I mean, he's solid. He's solid. Brew McCoy, you were about to say Brew McCoy. You cut out again. They have Squirrel White, but
he's solid. But Brew McCoy's good. I mean, dude, it feels like Brew McCoy's been in college for like 10 years.
Wasn't he like class of 19 or 18 or something like that?
I remember when he went to. Remember, he committed to UT and then he decommitted and then went to USC. And
like
I think
after signing day or something crazy.
And like
super
Tom
late.
Herman and like who was UT's quarterback at the time? They like flew out to California to go see him. Do you remember that story?
Yeah, I do remember that. That was insane.
Is that like legal?
I don't think anything that happened there was typical. I'm trying to see what year he was.
Yeah, because he was like a 5-star recruit.
19,
right?
19, class of 19. Yeah,
So
5-star.
He's like a 6-year senior then.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, Jeb. Any closing thoughts? I want to get out of here for the night.
Yeah, man. I'm looking. I gotta go to bed too.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the game, man. I mean, are you gonna live stream?
I'm gonna live stream the game, man. I'll be here.
I know we're kind of antsy right now because the media's been kind of, trying to make this feel like a trap game. I personally don't think it is. I'm feeling very confident. I think A&M is slowly more of a complete team. So for the fans, guys, like, dude, it's gonna be a good game. I think we're gonna win by a bunch of scores, at least by 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Jeb. Well, enjoy the game, and I hope to see you Saturday. Let's get it done.
I'll be here. All right, man. Later.
Later, man. All right, guys, we have a couple people join the calls, but I got to get out of here and get to bed, so we have to call the show there. But y'all call in next time. We got Benzo and Darius next time. If y'all call in, I'll let y'all cut the line. But anyway, guys, it's been a great show. Sorry for the one moment. I can't control what the callers say, but I can kick them out and never let them on again. Let's beat the hell out of Mississippi State. Let's check up with the chat one last time. Shan says, dude needs a DoorDash, some Taco Bell. Hell yeah. Caleb says, I might get arrested the day of the TU game. We got to just... I'm going to control my drinking that day and maybe not drink at all. I'm not risking that. That's what I always do for A&M games. I never drink during the games. I just can't do it. I'll drink after, but not during. Adios, Drew. Gig 'em. 41-14. Book it. Hell yeah, man. Love it. I've been an Aggie fan and living and dying since Jackie Sherrill when I was in high school. I'm ready for Mike Elko to bring it home. Never had this feeling since Coach Slocum. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. I got to call it a night. We've been going for an hour and a half. Sorry, Alex. Alan, call in next time, man. I'll let you cut the line. I got to get out of here. Y'all have a great night, guys. Gig 'em.